friends, with family, that makes us feel like things are back to normal. Would love to have more parks and more recreation throughout the county.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we know we've got beautiful amenities here in Bellefonte. We've got beautiful amenities all throughout the county. Phillipsburg, just really get out, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the parks, and we know pools are reopening across the county. And so again, get out and enjoy the beautiful Center County. And and to the visitors, if you're looking to visit Center County, we've got amazing recreation. So we'll put those plugs in there, and yeah,
Plug kayaking
absolutely,
too. That's
kayaking.
all over the county
Oh boy,
as well.
absolutely. So get some hiking boots and enjoy Center County. So with that, we look for a motion then.
An enthusiastic motion to adopt proclamation number 16 of 2020, proclaiming the month of July as Park and Recreation Month, and Friday, July 17th as Park and Recreation Professionals Day.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion, comments on this? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. Moving, anything, Margaret, for COVID-19 planning or response at this time? Okay. Under contracts, we'll welcome up our sheriffs, Brian Samsel, to talk a little bit about a contract renewal with Dr. Cassandra Badai to provide medical oversight for some naloxone. So good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, how are you? I'm just here for the contract with Dr. Badai. She provides medical guidance, oversight, and advice for the Sheriff's Office for a medical naloxone Narcan program. I think we've been with her for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, so maybe 3 years, and we've used it twice, and we've had 2 or 3, I think two saves, if not 3. I have to check the records, but so I brought a signed copy from her for you guys today. She sent me one back to provide you with, and then if you just give me a copy, then I'll.
Sure, can do. We'll take a look at it and make
No,
sure.
that's fine. I just had her sign it and send it back, and try and do everything instead of dropping up to the hospital. She can just send everything back and forth. So, and I'll send her a copy whenever we get it signed. But it's been great. She's highly efficient, and she does a great job with us. And I think she does all the local police departments as well. So, I just.
One of the things we always want to do is recognize if there have been any recent saves within the last few months or whatnot, and if your officers have been involved in any of that, because it's important for people to know that you are using this from time to time. And
Yeah, we had one
yeah,
2 months ago. Yeah, so we had one 2 months ago, and we had one right after so I think we've been 2 years, maybe 3. So we had one the first year right after we started using it, and then we've had one recently as well. So there's been a spike and we know from being different things that we had a spike in heroin overdoses. Now it's kind of leveled off a little bit and back down. Now it's starting to creep back up, and people inside and stuff. So about what you just talked about the park and recs, I don't think you can find a kayak in Center County right now because everyone's buying them because they are stuck at something. So because I had trouble finding the stickers. I have kayaks myself.
okay,
So.
okay.
And their stickers, the only place I found mine is the Fish and Boat Commission. No one else had them.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
just for anyone watching, try the Fish and Boat Commission because everyone else has them.
At Sayer Dam at the PCNR.
They have them there too? Okay, because they didn't have them, I went to some other local places that didn't have any left. They'd used all their stickers up, so. But I appreciate you having me up. I appreciate the approval for the contract, if you would. And it's paid for by the district attorney's office. It doesn't come out of our budget, comes out of the drug forfeiture money they collect, so it's a good program, so.
Any comments, questions?
I just want to, Steve, I think your microphone's not on.
Oh, there.
There we go.
In case there was any comments.
Yeah, well, Brian, just wanted to thank you, your staff, all law enforcement and first responders in Center County for the saves we've had. I know from working closely with the Hope Initiative that Commissioner Dersham heads up that, there are people who may overdose several times
Right.
Before they finally turn their lives around, but eventually they do. And we're glad everybody put forward the effort to keep them with us once they were ready to turn things around. So thanks.
I look at it as a benefit both ways for my deputies, for the office deputies, and for the public, because if the deputies come in contact with it, they can use it on themselves as well, or their partner can. So I think it's an effective all the way around tool. So
Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of folks don't realize is that when you come in, particularly fentanyl, you're going to need Narcan if you are even in the presence of it to make sure that you don't.
Yeah, we've had
have
some
adverse effects.
concerns here recently in the last couple of months, and so yeah, it's the fentanyl's been creeping back in and out and stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
I had a few constituent questions as well about the drop boxes for prescriptions. Are those still open or?
Oh, yeah, no, we,
Okay, all right.
so my office is open for, just for people who don't know, for license to carry as well. And they just have to knock, or when they get the door, there's a phone number, or call in, we'll let you in to drop off your. Yeah, I just got rid of, I think, 40 pounds of drugs. I gave it to, Chief Weaver ran it up for me, but I collected it and took it out of storage and out of evidence and took it up, so. A lot, that's probably 2 months worth, month and a half worth, so people are still dropping it off. Here was full, but we are getting 2 more boxes, and we're gonna start working with some local municipalities, maybe put one in Penns Valley and Phillipsburg. I'm in the process of doing it now. I got 2 free boxes from Rite Aid program, so I'm gonna replace these ones with the Rite Aid boxes and then move the ones we have out to some other areas of interest that don't have boxes, so we're trying to work that out with the district attorney's office, and the county detective and I are trying to work it out who's going to collect, and we can share the collection of it, because it's not always convenient to run over and do it, so, and depending how full it gets or who's checking it and how often, so we have to work out those details, but the other box will be here shortly.
Great,
So,
thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Have a good day.
Thank you. We look at it for a motion at this time.
Motion- Excuse me, motion to add the contract renewal with Dr. Badai to next week's consent agenda.
Seconded, any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. For our Human Services Office, we have a 2018 Fair Rental Assistance Closeout Report in the amount of $22,000. Anything we wanted to report on this, Margaret?
Yes, Faith Ryan was not able to be here this morning, but shared some information about this closeout report that I think is worth noting. The original grant was for $22,000, and it actually serves 17 municipalities across Center County impacted by Marcellus Shale. The total expended came to exactly $22,005. The $5 is interest earned, and it was put back into program distribution. The money served 24 households residing in these 17 municipalities, and these individuals were homeless or near homelessness, and rent and security deposits were provided for them. This program also brings in a cash match of $30,000 from Act 137. That's expected to be spent by December 30th of this year, with the possibility of extending it into 2021 with some of our COVID-19 pandemic-related funding. So that's the sum of the report. They do great work, and many municipalities are positively impacted, in the individuals who live in those municipalities through this program.
Any questions, feedback from Margaret? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to add the 2018 Fair Rental Assistance Closeout Report to next week's consent agenda.
Been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on that? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Okay. Thank you, Margaret. We'll welcome up this time our Planning Director, Ray Stolinas, to talk about the CPACE program. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. As everyone knows, we've talked about CPACE since last November, gave a presentation with the basics of the law and what it can do for property owners last time I was there. And we've given updates since then, and part of the initial process to notify municipalities that the county intends to adopt a resolution and discuss a resolution at a future date. This week, I bring an official notification letter, as Act 30 requires the counties that are interested in CPACE, commercial property assessed clean energy, to send that letter to the municipalities, give notification with the date of the intended decision for a resolution. The law basically states that notification has to be sent out before the consideration. So in front of you, you have that letter. I have 35 letters ready for signature for that to be sent out, and we'd like to have approval on that so that we can get that out in the mail to our municipalities in Center County.
Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you. Any comment, feedback for Ray?
I really like the program. It's a way, to summarize it for the people at home, it's a way to allow a property owner to finance putting in green energy that's attached to the property itself. So that way, let's say it's a commercial structure, and you'd probably be there at least 5 years, but the loan is for 10. It's okay. It's going to get paid. And whoever purchases the property in the future will then, I believe, be obligated to cover it, but they'll also be receiving the benefits. And just every year or so, green energy gets a little bit more efficient, a little bit more affordable, and the 2.3, 2.4% increase in standard electricity prices over the last 30 years, it just keeps going up. So every year, projects that maybe were break even now become profitable.
And it is tied to assessment. It's not related to assessment, but it is tied to it with the long-term financing and low-interest loan on the improvements that are clean energy related, water conservation related, and so forth. So next week, I have a request to bring the resolution for the commissioners to consider, and that will include the coverage area of the county, and will also include a program administrator to be identified for that.
Thank you, Ray. We know a lot of work's going into this, and again, there are entities that are interested in this program. And again, if nobody uses it, then no harm, no foul. But if we do have entities that are interested, it is a benefit again to the community. So, thanks for all your work on this. Any other questions, comments before we look for a motion? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the official municipal notification letter for the commercial property assessed clean energy CPACE program.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you very much, Ray. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Under grants, we have nothing for today, but we do have a consent agenda, and we look for a motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion, comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Okay. Margaret, we'll turn it over to you for the administrator's report.
In accordance with Resolution 2 of 2020, the county administrator is permitted to execute financial documents not to exceed $10,000, and only in those circumstances where the items have been approved and allocated within the county's 2020 budget or previously approved in public session. The resolution also requires that the administrator present to you a list of all contracts approved at the close of each quarter. So in front of you this morning is a list of the contracts approved or financial documents approved during the second quarter of calendar year 2020. You'll see that there are 6 items. The first 5 are contract renewals, and the last item is related to our Highway Safety Net program, and it does not involve any financial commitment in any way. So the number of contracts coming through during April, May, and June, of course, in general, were much lower, and this reflects that decrease in contracting.
Okay, thank you, Margaret. Any questions, feedback on this from Margaret? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion? Or we don't need to take a motion, it's just more of a report, right? Correct, that's right. Okay, thank you, Margaret. Right, under discussion items, we did want to bring to everybody's attention the CBICC, the Bellefonte Intervalley Area Chamber of Commerce, the Meshannon Valley Economic Development Partnership, Happy Valley Adventure Bureau, and the State College Downtown Improvement District yesterday introduced the Center Strong initiative, and it's essentially a pledge for local businesses and other organizations to take that essentially would encourage face covering, sanitation, hand hygiene, and social distancing in an effort to, again, fight back against the COVID-19 pandemic. And we saw it released yesterday. Many businesses since then have taken the pledge, and with all the work that we've been doing since March in these regards, I think it would be fitting if we would also take the pledge and show the support, and again, thank the local business community for what they're doing. And so essentially it would just be a form that we would fill out online, and we could have Margaret fill that out, and we can, again, be part of the initiative, again, to take the steps necessary to keep everybody safe during the pandemic. And so just want to bring that before our attention. Again, no cost, nothing involved. We're a member of the CBICC and these other organizations, but again, no cost. So wanted to bring that forward discussion to see if we're willing to take the pledge and be a part of this initiative.
Sounds
We're
like-
already doing it.
Yeah,
I think we've already taken enough actions, but that's why we can add that to the list.
yeah, it sounds like a good idea to me. And I was recently checking out some data for the state of Pennsylvania on COVID, and it turns out at this point that Center County is the safest county in the state. I think in part because a lot of the students aren't here, but based on the number of deaths we've had in the county, divided into the population of the county, we are about 3 standard deviations lower in terms of our mortality rate than other parts of the state. And there were several counties that were 1.5 to 2 times standard deviation above the standard level. So Center County is very safe at the moment. Let's keep it that way.
All right, so we have consensus that we'll take this pledge and, again, be a part of this initiative. So, again, thank you to all these organizations. Again, the CBICC, Bellefonte Area Chamber of Commerce, the MVEDP, Happy Valley Adventure Bureau, and the Downtown Improvement District and State College for leading this initiative and launching it yesterday. Again, Center Strong, and businesses can go to centerstrong.org to take the pledge. Okay, super. All right, any other discussion items to come before us? Any other topics? Okay, seeing none, we'll turn it over to Commissioner Higgins for a check run.
Sure. We have another smaller than average check run of $928,351.72. The check of the week, fairly big series of checks to J.C. Orenson, Inc. for $201,948.60. This is for a large fraction of the courthouse improvement projects. I know everybody's been very busy. There's a lot going on, but these are major improvements to the courthouse, which have been quite a bit of work, thanks to Margaret and the facilities and some of the other departments for keeping that project moving forward. It includes substantial safety improvements, including the security vestibule and installation of a fire sprinkling system plus other amenities. As I've heard a local elected official say, it's a short-term convenience for a long-term improvement. So I will make the motion to approve today's check run dated July 10th.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the check run. Any further discussion on the check run? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Okay. Voter registration report, Commissioner Dershowitz.
We have one. We have a total of 109,305 registered voters. That's up 378 from last report. We have 46,252 Democratic registrants, 151 Green Party, 674 Libertarian, 14,597 no affiliation, and 43,042 Republican voters in Center County. That leaves 4,589 in the smaller party registrants, which we'd like to feature today, the American Independent Party. The American Independent Party has 1 registered voter in Center County, and we want to thank them for their participation. The precinct feature of the day is Snowshoe East, precinct number 76. They vote at the Snowshoe Township building in Clarence. In the spring primary, there were 665 total registered voters and 284 ballots cast, which led a turnout percentage of 42.71. The folks that make it happen, Christine Sorovic is the judge of elections. Christine Onder is the minority inspector. Shelley Katchik is the majority inspector, and the clerks are Susan Lyncha and Susan Butterworth. So we want to thank them for their help and thank Snowshoe Township for letting us use their facilities. So there you have it.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Any executive sessions to report, Margaret?
No executive sessions to report, but we do need to meet in executive session to discuss a legal matter this morning.
Thank you, Margaret. Right. Gary, any questions at this point?
The College Borough Council is talking about some type of, to add to the proclamation resolutions about wearing face masks. And you folks have talked about enforcement, and they're looking at some possible enforcement measures. Has the county had any kind of discussion like that? Or have you conferred with the borough on that type of discussion?
So as part of us being not a home rule county and also not having a county health department, we're unable to, as a county government, do anything like you're seeing in other counties in terms of enforcement, in terms of fines, fees. We're not able to do any of that. So we're closely monitoring the situation when it comes to the borough, seeing what they're going to be putting out there. We do understand that last night they passed a resolution very similar to ours as a first step, but I think that there is a level of concern when over the weekend we saw many students coming in for Arts Fest, and there wasn't social distancing occurring, masking was hit and miss, and so I think that they're hearing a lot from their residents about what can be done, but we have to recognize that it has to be a balance between enforcement and also understanding what other options are given in terms of recreating, in terms of, again, how do we have a college town in the midst of a pandemic? That's the question that hundreds of other areas across the country are trying to focus on. So closely monitoring the situation. We understand residents are worried, but we also don't want to make the situation worse. So again, monitoring the situation, and we'll see what they're going to come up with.
Question we asked before, and the state health secretary said yesterday there are no plans by the state to move a county from green back. Does Center County have the individual power if things would unforeseen get out of hand when students do come back to say we're going to go into, like California is now shutting down again, businesses and stuff like, can the county do that on its own?
We cannot and we will not. The message we sent back to the governor through our representative and here in this very room was any decisions about closure, moving to different phases, that whole conversation, that's going to have to come from the governor and the secretary of health. We do not have the data, resources to be able to make those kind of decisions. And so we will work with them, we will talk with them, discuss things, and we would hope that there would be some conversations that would occur. But that decision for us and 50 other counties, over 50 counties, is made at the state level. Sure. Any other questions from anybody else on the phone before we look to go into executive session? Okay. All right, seeing none, we will look for a motion to go into executive session at 10:24.
Motion to go into executive session at 10:24.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are in executive session. Thanks very much.